Have you ever seen a trend just completely take over and then notice that one person who just couldn't care less? It's not that they're trying to be difficult. It turns out there's this whole fascinating psychological architecture going on under the surface. It's like a mental blueprint that kind of decides if we follow the crowd or, carve our own path. So today, let's explore that blueprint together.
I mean, this is the real question, right? You see it everywhere. Fashion, music, how we think about the world. What is it that makes someone decide to swim against such a powerful social current? It's a deep question about who we are, and believe me, the answer is way more interesting than just rebellion.
It is so easy to just slap a label on someone, right? Oh, he's a rebel, she's a hipster. But those are just stereotypes. The psychology behind it is so much deeper. We're talking about a complex mix of how we build our identity, how our brains process information, our fundamental personality, and what truly motivates us. So let's peel back these layers one by one.
Okay, let's start with the social angle. And here's the first thing that might surprise you. Choosing to be different is, ironically, a deeply social decision. It's not really about rejecting the world. It's about finding your specific place in it.
So there's this brilliant idea for this in social psychology called optimal distinctiveness theory. Just imagine there's a constant tug of war happening inside all of us. On one side, you have this powerful, ancient need to belong, to be part of the tribe. But on the other side, pulling just as hard, is this need to feel like you're special, an individual.
So what does that tug of war actually look like? Well, for a lot of people, those two needs are in a pretty tight balance. But for someone who leans toward nonconformity, that need for uniqueness style is often cranked way up. The satisfaction they get from standing out is just more powerful than the comfort they'd get from fitting in.
So when you really think about it, this isn't some blanket rejection of society. No way. It's actually a super selective process. It's almost like they're an artist, carefully curating their own identity, picking and choosing their connections to get that perfect sweet spot of being connected, but also one of a kind.
Okay, so if the goal is to curate this unique identity, how does the brain actually make that happen? This brings us to the next piece of the architecture, the cognitive engine. This is all about the how, the mental process behind the choice to be different.
All right, so picture this. Two people see the exact same trend emerge. Person A's brain might go on autopilot. Everyone's doing it, must be cool. And bam, they adopt it. That's social proof, plain and simple. But person B's brain, it takes a detour. They see the trend, but then they hit the brakes. They start a critical analysis, asking questions like, wait, does this actually align with my values? Do I personally like this, or do I just like that other people like it? And only after that internal gut check do they make a conscious choice.
And that right there is the heart of it. It's the huge difference between passively reacting to what's popular and actively putting it on trial in your own mind. That habit of deliberate evaluation, that's the horsepower in the nonconformist's cognitive engine.
So we've got the social drive for uniqueness and the mental habit of evaluation. But what's all this built on? Well, now we get to the very foundation of our architecture, the personality blueprint. These are the deep, stable traits that kind of prime a person for this way of life.
So what's actually in this blueprint? Well, research consistently points to a few key things. First, these folks are often high in what's called openness to experience. They just get a kick out of new ideas. They also tend to have an internal locus of control. Now, that's just a fancy way of saying they truly believe that they are in charge of their own destiny, not external forces. And when you believe that, you naturally become more self-reliant, which means you need a lot less validation from other people to feel good about your choices.
You see how these all fit together? They form this solid, foundational blueprint. It's a psychological structure that is just naturally built to value independent thought way more than it values the easy comfort of going along with the crowd.
Okay, so we've looked at the social, the cognitive, and the personality layers of this whole thing. But so what? Why does any of this matter outside of someone's personal style? Well, let's zoom out and look at the big picture. I just love this quote. The engine of innovation is not consensus, but the thoughtful divergence of a single mind. It nails it, doesn't it? I mean, think about it. When was the last time a major breakthrough in art or science came from everybody agreeing? It never happens. It always comes from that one person who saw the world a little differently and was brave enough to chase that vision. That's thoughtful divergence.
And that's why, in the end, nonconformity is so much more than a personal choice. It is an absolutely vital ingredient for any culture that wants to move forward. The person who questions things, who dares to try something that might fail, who thinks that one different thought, more often than not, they're the ones dragging the rest of us into the future.
So I'll leave you with a final thought to take with you. Now that you kind of see the architecture, take a look at your own blueprint. Where in your life do you feel that pull to conform? And where do you feel that desire, that strength, to stand apart? The answer might tell you something really interesting about your own unique design.